Okay, so this is the main screen. This is what your students will see when they access the Brainfuse service. So the point of the webinar today is just for me basically to go over all the different options that we have here and for you to ask any questions that you have as I'm going through it. So I'll try to stop and ask for questions every few minutes, but there's only a couple of you here today, so you can feel free to interrupt and ask questions at any point while I'm going through the webinar. Okay, so usually the way it'll be set up is there'll be a link on, it'll be put somewhere for your students to access, either through your whatever learning management system you use, like Blackboard, something like that. It'll depend how you set it up exactly with our tech department, but there'll be a link posted somewhere that your students will be able to click on, and that's how they'll access our service. That's how they'll get to this page right here that we're looking at. All the different options we're looking at today, they're all customizable in that if any of these options we look at are not relevant, we can remove them. So you just have to let us know, and we could remove that part of the service. Okay, so there's basically 3 tabs on the main page here. So the Expert Help tab is the default, and then we also have Study and Collaborate. So I'm just going to work my way through each of these, and we'll see all the different options that are offered here to your students. Okay, so the first option here is Live Help. So this is sort of our foundational service. It involves connecting with one of our live tutors, and the student interacts with one of our live tutors in our online classroom. They can ask any questions they have. So to access our live tutors, just click on the button here. Then you choose one of the subjects here. You choose business. Actually, I'll go through each of these to show you the subjects that are offered. So we have business, and then accounting, econ, and finance. We have computer and tech, which is Excel, PowerPoint, Windows, and Word. And we have English, which is reading and writing. Math, which is a number of math subjects here, all the standard math topics. And then science, we have anatomy, bio, chem, and physics. So you choose the one you want, and then just click on the Get Live Help button to connect. We'll look at the live session at the very end today, so that'll be the last thing we do. I'm just going to go through the full service first. You can also click here if you'd like to get a Spanish-speaking tutor rather than an English-speaking tutor. Right next to the Live Help button, we have Skill Surfer. So we have a lot of different lessons and other materials created that our tutors are able to access in a live session and show to the student. And then here in Skill Surfer, we have a lot of those materials made available to students. So a student can just log in here on their own and access a lot of these lessons that we have created in the topics that you see here. So you're not connecting with a tutor. You can just use our lessons here to learn different topics. So we have reading and writing. Then within math, we have basic math, algebra, and trig. And then in science, we have bio, chem, and physics. So we'll be working on adding more topics, but this is what we have for now. So for example, if I click on college algebra, we have all these subtopics here within algebra. So numbers and operations, for example. And then here I can click on this to see the 105 lessons that we have within that topic. So these lessons here in the orange text, with the orange logo, these are essentially text lessons. And then the green logos here are videos. So these are video lessons that we've created on that topic. So you can click on these, read through the lessons, or watch the videos. Any questions about anything so far?
Not yet.
No, that looks good.
Okay. So if I move down the page here, our next option is the Writing Lab. So the Writing Lab basically allows students to send in a piece of writing that they're working on to have it reviewed by one of our tutors. So you click on the Writing Lab button, it takes me to this page. You just have to attach your document here in number 1. So I'll attach a sample that I have. Pretty much any standard document type is fine. Then you have a comments box where you can type out any notes you'd like to for the tutor to see. Type out what the assignment was, anything like that, and then click on the Submit button. So that sends that document into us. One of our tutors will work on it and send it back, as it says here, within 1 business day at the most for the turnaround time. So we might send it back just an hour or 2 later, but at the most it'll come back within 1 business day. Our tutors are not going to essentially send back a clean copy that the student can then just turn in. The point of our review is to make comments and suggestions for improvement, so the student can then go back and make those changes on their own. So we'll point out some recurring grammar errors or typos if there are any of those throughout the paper, but the focus will be on providing comments to help the student write a better paper and become a better writer. So when we send something back, it looks like this. It'll look similar to this. So we always put our rubric on the top. So that's the rubric right here. And then within each of these sections that we have, the tutor will make some comments about the paper and things that can be changed. And if you scroll down, you'll find the actual paper itself, and the tutor will embed comments within the paper as well. So that's what all the comments in blue here are. Some tutors put more comments within the text and fewer within the rubric. Some do the opposite. It depends on the tutor and on the paper, what makes sense for that particular paper. But this is the format that the paper will be sent back in. This directs you to the message center when you see this message here. So you click on the message center here at the top of the page, and here is the document we just sent in. So when the tutor sends back their response, that'll show up right here in the message center as well. If we go back to the main page here, right next to the Writing Lab, we have the 24/7 Center. So this service works exactly the same way as the Writing Lab, except in the 24/7 Center, you can send in questions. So type out any academic questions here. Again, you choose the topic and then the subject, just like before. Type out your question, attach a file if you have one, and then click on Submit. So that question is saved in the Message Center, along with the response that our tutor sends back. Again, the turnaround time is a max of 1 business day. And again, we're never going to give out an answer. So if a student sends in a math problem, we will either get them started or work through a similar type of problem to show them how you do that type of question, but we're never going to give out the answers. That was the 24/7 Center option here. Moving down the page, we have the Language Lab next. This is basically here for any English-speaking students who are learning Spanish. So if you click on the Language Lab, you'll see Spanish is the only option we have in the drop-down menu. So you can choose Spanish, click on Connect with Tutor. That connects you with a live tutor who can answer any questions you have about Spanish, help teach you a verb tense, something like that. So this is for someone who's learning the Spanish language. But we also saw in the Live Help button, the first one we looked at, you have this checkbox here you can click on. That will also get you a Spanish-speaking tutor. This is used more by native Spanish speakers or someone who's more comfortable learning in Spanish. So you can choose math, Algebra 1, and then get a Spanish tutor who can help you with Algebra 1. Whereas the Language Lab is for someone who's trying to learn the Spanish language. The next option here is the Adult Learning Center. So some of the options here may not really be relevant for your students. Again, any of these options can be removed. So if I click on the Adult Learning Center, this is geared towards adult learners. So again, it's anyone who's no longer in school is really the ideal target for this. But essentially here on the right-hand side, we have lifelong learning. Under this topic here, we have essentially a lot of the same options that I just showed you. They're just geared towards adults here in the Adult Learning Center. So we have live tutoring and skills building. Both of these options will let you connect with a live tutor. We have the Writing Lab, where you can send in pieces of writing, just like the Writing Lab we saw before. 24/7 Help, where you can send in a question. And then the Test Center we haven't seen back on the main page yet, but that lets you take academic practice tests. Here on the left, we have some additional options for adult learners. We have a Pass the GED button. So this has some resources for the GED, including live tutors you can connect to and practice tests you can take here on the right-hand side. Below that option, we have the same options for the U.S. citizenship test. So we have some study materials, live tutors, and then practice tests. If anyone's working on a resume, we have the resume option here. So for resumes, we have some resources here on the left. You can upload a copy of your resume here in the middle to send that in to us and have one of our resume editors review your resume. And then on the right here, you can connect to a resume tutor in a live session and go over your resume in real time. The next option is Microsoft Office Help. So here we offer help with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint up to the most recent versions of those programs. So you can click on online resources here on the left, or you can connect with a live tutor here on the right. And then the last option here in the Adult Learning Center is career resources. So these are just some links to websites we've compiled that you can use to find available jobs to apply to. So we have a section for general job sites, one for job sites for students and recent graduates, and one for veterans down at the bottom. So those are the options here in the Adult Learning Center. I'll go back to the home page. And we'll look at the final two options here in the Expert Help tab. So we have LEAP is the first one. So we call this the College Skills Program. We only have this for a couple of subjects right now. So when you click on LEAP the first time, actually what you'll see is this tab here which says Take Diagnostic. So you can choose then English and reading, or you can choose math and pre-algebra or college algebra. So these are the only subjects we currently have. But essentially what this allows you to do, say I choose college algebra and then start, that will assign me a diagnostic quiz in college algebra. So I'll take the quiz, and then based on the questions I answer correctly or incorrectly, it will create a little learning plan and give me a lot of materials to work on those topics I need help with. So for example, I took the English one right here. So you get this page here, which is your learning plan page. This chart here will fill in as you work through all of our resources, and our resources are listed down below. So the resources are down here. We have lessons and videos, and then mini quizzes as well. So you look through our lesson and our video on a topic, and then you can take the mini quiz as well. So this is based on the questions you answer incorrectly. So you just work your way down through all these lessons. As you work through them, the chart up here will fill in. So it's just a nice additional way for a student to work on one of these topics. Right next to the LEAP option, we have Tutor Match. So this may or may not be used by your school. So essentially this allows you to schedule in advance, schedule tutoring sessions in advance, and you can do it either with our tutors or with your own tutors if you want to use it for your own tutoring program. With our tutors, you really don't need to use it because we have our tutors on for certain hours. They'll always be there. But if you want to guarantee a session or connect with a particular tutor, you can use this option here. But it's mostly used to schedule sessions with your own tutors in your tutoring center or somewhere on campus. So you just choose first a topic and then a subject, and then click on Schedule. And then you can choose the modality. So we do online is obviously all that we offer. Our sessions are always online. And then if you want to do phone or on campus, that would be with your tutors. So you put in the times here, and the rest of the steps, they're pretty self-explanatory, but this is how you schedule one of these tutoring sessions in advance.
Will it show when our tutors are busy?
It would essentially, your tutors would have to input their own schedules. So if you request a tutor at a certain time and your tutor is not available, it would say that. But if there's a tutor available at the time that the student puts in, a tutor has a block, they're available from 4 to 8. The student says they want a tutor from 5 to 6. It would say that tutor is available and let them schedule a session.
We expect to have tutors at 5 different locations. Will they be able to choose which location and which tutor?
That's something I guess would have to be worked out with our tech department. I haven't gotten that question before. Would you use the tutor match service here, or do you have something similar already in place?
I don't think we have anything in place like that. Sure.
Okay. So yeah, if it's something you're interested in, you can definitely contact us about it in our tech department.
Presently, we just have tutors that work on certain schedules on campus that I deal with. But we could certainly build something like that in there if we felt we needed to. That they could meet somebody on campus at a particular time. That may be helpful.
Yeah, we could definitely work with you to set something like that up.
Yeah. Now I'm currently in the process of trying to hire some new individuals for the fall as well. So I'll have to work out, what times they're available and things of that nature.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions about anything we've gone over so far?
Nope.
No, none for me.
Okay. So let's move on to the study tab here. We have a few options available in this section. The first one here is Flashbulb. So essentially Flashbulb is an online flashcard service. So you click on the button here and you can enter your own flashcards by clicking on the Create Now button here on the left. You get a lot of additional options with these flashcards online once you've entered them, that you don't have with actual hard copies of flashcards. We also have all these different topics over here, so you can actually search for sets of flashcards that other people have created by topic here. These may not be accurate. Most are just created by other users of Brainfuse. Plus, they probably won't cover the exact words that you're looking to work on, but you can always click on these options here if you want to. I'm going to click on one of the topics and then one of the sets of cards just to show you what a set of flashcards looks like. So this right here is a set of flashcards. So once you enter your words and definitions, or whatever it is that you want to enter, you'll see a page just like this. And each of these icons here lets you do something different with the cards. So you can just see the cards in the flashcards option here, the first button. Say I know that card, I can put it in the correct pile. If I don't know the next one, I can put it in the incorrect pile, and then retry those that I didn't know later. There's a lot of games here you can play as well. For example, a crossword puzzle. So the system creates a crossword puzzle for you using the definitions you entered over here as the clues. There's other games available as well, quizzes and tests. You can print the cards out if you do want hard copies of them. So these are all options you'll have here if you use the flashcard service. It's all designed just to make memorizing a little bit easier for students. If we go back to the main page, and go back into the study tab, the next option here is the GRE. So if anyone is preparing to take the GRE test, we have some resources here for them. So we have live help over here on the left, so you can connect with a live tutor. We have practice tests for the GRE here in the middle, and then on the right we have resources available for the GRE. So right here is the resources page. If we go back, we then have the same options as we had for the GRE. We have the same thing available for AccuPlacer and Compass. So we have resources, live tutors, and practice tests available for GRE, AccuPlacer, and Compass. The resources button right here is something that's just it's fully customized by you. So it's essentially, we've had requests from other clients who want to put certain links within Brainfuse. So a link back to your school's homepage or to other resources that you have available to students. So if you have any links you'd like us to add in the resources section, you can send them to us. We can add them there for you. Otherwise, it'll just be empty. And then the last option here in this section is the Test Center. So basically the Test Center lets you take academic practice tests. So you just click on the Test Center, choose one of the topics here, and then you can take a practice test in that topic. So choose what you want, click on Take a Test. Any practice tests you take in any of the sections here within Brainfuse, they will be saved up at the top of the screen here where it says My Tests. So any practice tests you take will be saved right here. Any questions about any of the options here in the study section?
No, not yet.
None for me. It looks great.
Okay. So let's move on to the Collaborate tab, the last option here. And we have two options here in Collaborate. The first one is Meet. So essentially Meet allows you to schedule an online meeting in our online classroom with whoever you'd like to invite to the session. So it uses the same online classroom as when you connect with one of our tutors in a live session, except that in a Meet session here, you're not connecting with our tutors. You're only connecting with those people that you invite to the session. So it might be used by students to host a study group. Could be used by a teacher or professor even to give extra help to students outside of the classroom. So you just click on Meet here to schedule a session. So you enter the email addresses of whoever you'd like to invite, put in the date and time, a brief description of the meeting, and click on Send. So that will send an email that contains a link to everybody whose email address you entered here. They'll be able to just click on that link to join the session. And as far as the options you have and what the online classroom looks like, we'll see that at the end in just a few minutes actually when we connect for a live session. So again, you have pretty much the same options here in a Meet session as you do when you're connected with one of our live tutors. When you have one of these scheduled, you have the My Calendar option up here at the top. So that's where that session will be saved. This is where you'll go to start the session when it's time for it to begin. We go back into the Collaborate tab. Right next to Meet, we have Brainwave. So this button here says Create and Share Movie-like Notes and Ideas. Essentially, you're given a smartboard here in Brainwave where you can type out or draw whatever you'd like to put on the board. And then it records a little video of whatever you're putting on the board there. So a good example of what you might use this for is to show how to solve a multi-step math problem. These are 3 brainwaves that have been created within this account. I can click on the play button to play them, or I can click on the Create a Brainwave button up here to create a new one. So this window here tells me a little bit more about the Brainwave service, and then I click on Begin Recording when I'm ready to start. The window here looks just like our online classroom. You essentially have these same buttons here when you're connected in a live session. So I'll go over them when we're in the actual live session. But essentially here, the system's recording right now. So anything I put on the board will be recorded. I can put a graph on the board and, add a line and work through how to find the slope of that line or whatever the problem is that I'm trying to solve. I can work through all the steps. The system records here what I'm putting on the board. So I just click on Stop Recording, give the brainwave a name, and then click on Save. So that would save it right here. I can create these just for myself and rewatch them, or you can click on the envelope icon next to each brainwave once you've created it, and that will allow you to send it to somebody else. So you could send these to fellow students, or again, even a teacher or professor could send these to their students. And we also have the Brainwave Library tab here. So this lets you search by keyword for brainwaves that other people have created. So just like the flashcards where you can search through sets of cards that other people have created, you can do the same thing here with brainwaves. And you can always click on the My Brainwaves option right here, and that will get you back to your brainwaves page. One more option up here that we haven't looked at is My Cloud Pack. So this is essentially a storage device. You click on My Cloud Pack, this blue window opens. The first time, it'll just say My Cloud Pack here. So these 2 subfolders are ones that I added. You can add whatever folders you like here. Then you can upload documents into those folders, and that will save those documents there. So you can always log back in to access them. But the nice thing about Cloud Pack is that once you have documents saved here, you can access them when you're connected in a live session and upload those documents right into our online classroom. So if you have a paper there you're working on, you can connect with an English tutor, a writing tutor, and then upload your paper right into the whiteboard and get help on that from the tutor. I'll mention that again when we're connected in the live session. Okay, does anyone have any questions about anything we've gone over before we connect for the live session?
I'm sorry, Jamie, on the last thing that we just looked at, can you, creating one of those videos, you can also record audio into it as well?
No, there's no audio in the videos.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, the only time you can use audio within Brainfuse is in the Meet session here. So when you're connected with our tutors, we don't use audio. But if you're connected in a Meet session here with the people that you invite, so your fellow students or whoever it is, if you're all connected to audio correctly, you can use audio in a Meet session. But that's the only time. So in Brainwave, you're not able to record audio. Any other questions right now?
No question.
Okay.
No, thank you.
I'm just going to pause the screen for a second to get the live session set up. Okay, the screen should be live again. So we looked at a few different areas where you can connect with one of our live tutors. But the first option we looked at here was the live help. This is probably the most used option for connecting with live tutors. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the live help button right here. Then I just enter English, say I choose writing, and then I click on the Get Live Help button. So this right here is our online classroom that's opening up. You'll always see the same online classroom here, so it doesn't matter what subject you choose. You always see the same window here. Today I've just set this up so that I connect with myself. I'm also logged in as a tutor. So the tutor's name here is in parentheses. It's also over here in the participants box. There's basically two parts to the online classroom. So there's the whiteboard space at the top and the instant message chat box down here at the bottom. So if I want to type something back to the tutor, I can just click right down here and then type. So that's where most of the back and forth communication happens, down here in the instant messaging chat box. Of course, the session usually is started by the tutor, so when there's actually another person there, the tutor greets the student and figures out what exactly they need to work on. The whiteboard space up here can be used for a lot of different things. So if a student just has a math problem they'd like to go over, they can type it out here on the whiteboard. But we also have a lot of different options that our tutors have. They have a lot of resources they can load into the whiteboard space here. So essentially they could load one of our lessons onto the whiteboard. So if a student is looking for help with a specific topic, so multiplying fractions, whatever the topic is, the tutor can load our lesson on that topic. We have lessons created for pretty much all standard topics. And then we have a lot of other resources available as well. So if a student needs help on writing a paper or some aspect of writing a paper or on writing their resume, tutors have resources they can load to give help with that. But of course you can also just write on the whiteboard here on your own. So you do that using all these different buttons along the left-hand side. So the pencil, for example, just lets you freehand draw on the board. The eraser will let you erase. And this is all interactive. So whatever I'm putting on the whiteboard here as a student, it's showing up on the tutor's whiteboard and vice versa. So it's essentially like we're working on the same board. So you would use all these tools to type out a question. Maybe there's an image or a picture that goes along with it. So you can do all those types of things. So the next button here is ABC, so that just lets you type anywhere on the board. Font button just lets you change the font style and size. Color wheel here lets you change the color of the next thing that you put on the board. This button right here lets you paste anything onto the whiteboard that can be copied and pasted. So you can take a part of a paper you're working on, paste it onto the whiteboard, part of your resume, a math problem from an online source, anything like that can be pasted right onto the whiteboard. This button is to draw straight lines. So you can use it to underline or draw figures. The graph option we saw briefly earlier, but this actually gives you two options. You can choose the number line and click and drag a number line onto the board, or you can choose the graph option and click and drag that onto the board. And you can double click on either of the icons here to change the X and Y values. This is a shapes tool. You can use that to put some basic shapes on the board. So there's just a few examples of that. The arrow here removes the most recent thing you put on the board. So you can keep clicking on that and you essentially move backwards. Math button gives me a long list of math symbols if I need any of those. SCI does the same thing for science symbols. Then we have a superscript and a subscript button. And down at the very bottom, you can clear the entire whiteboard. Up at the top here, we have some additional options. So the print button will let you print out what's on the whiteboard. So if you went over the solution to a problem or something that was particularly helpful, you can use this print button to print it out. However, you don't have to do that. If we go back to the website quickly, we have this past sessions option right here. So all of your live tutoring sessions are automatically recorded and then saved within your account here. So it's done automatically. You can always log back in later and replay any of these past tutoring sessions that you've had. If we go back to the online classroom, We also have this envelope icon here, which essentially lets you enter an email address, and that will email a link to you that you can click on to view that recording of your tutoring session. So if you'd rather have access to it through your email rather than having to sign into your Brainfuse account, you can type in your email address here at the end of a session, and it will send you the recording. The description there within that button is a little bit outdated, but it actually sends you a link now you can click on to view the recording of the session. This button lets you upload a document directly to your tutor. So if you're looking to get help on a paper you're working on, you can upload that file right to the tutor using this button, and any standard document type can be sent back and forth. And then the last option here is the Cloud Pack Explorer. So that's the one we looked at before. It's the storage device. So after you've uploaded any documents into your Cloud Pack, when you're in a live session here, you can click on the Cloud Pack Explorer, and you can upload any of those documents right onto the whiteboard here. So you have a few options for sharing items with your tutor. You can use the Cloud Pack option, you can use the Send File option, or you can just copy paste right onto the whiteboard. So if you connect for a Meet session, one of those sessions you schedule with the people you would like to invite, you'll essentially have the same online classroom here. You can have more than 2 people, so it's not going to be just a tutor and a student. You can have 3, 4, 5, or more people connected. You would all be working on the same whiteboard and in the same chat box. So you could essentially have a study session or work through homework problems, anything like that in the online classroom here within a Meet session. Okay, anyone have any questions about the online classroom?
Jimmy, I'm sorry, I see down there at the bottom under the participants that they can actually use audio, they can speak to the tutor in this session.
That's actually, it's something we have the ability to use, but it's deactivated in all of our sessions here with our live tutors. So the only time you can use it is in a Meet session when you're connected just with the other people that you invite. With our tutors, you can never use the audio.
Do you have any plans to make that active at any point soon, or?
No, we've used it in the past, and we don't use it now for a number of reasons.
Okay, very well. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Any other questions right now?
No questions.
Okay. That's pretty much everything I wanted to go over. The last thing we always like to show in these sessions is for promoting the service. So these are just some ways you can increase usage. It's really, they're all just about getting the word out to your students that this service is available. So we have flyers we can send you. Those can be put in areas where students would see them. And any other notifications you can give to students to make them aware of the service through email, through Blackboard, or whatever learning management system you use. Anything like that is obviously great. We're happy to conduct additional webinars like this if you'd like to set those up for our staff, even for students, if you'd like to do that. So these are just some other ideas here as well, just all about promoting the service to get the students to use it.
Jamie, we're currently using Angel as our course management system. Can we integrate Brainfuse with it?
Yes, it would have to be done with our tech department, so I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I know we've done it with Angel and with lots of other learning management systems. So our tech department would be happy to work with your tech people, and they can set that up.
Okay. Who would I contact for that information?
Well, it would be our tech department. I'm not. I guess
Could you have someone contact me?
Yeah, sure. Is this David or Joseph?
This is David.
Okay. David, did you have to give your email address when you registered for this training? I think you probably did.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I have your email address there. I'll have someone contact you.
And then my other question would be reporting that's possible after we've integrated everything. Will instructors be able to see how much usage students have, how much time they spent in Brainfuse or anything like that?
We send usage reports, usually, well, once a month or every week or every 2 weeks. It depends on how often you want them. So that would contain all the usage stats.
But we don't have direct access to it. It's something that you send to us?
I believe for now, for the way it's set up, we do have the capability of doing that, but I'm not sure if it'll be set up like that. If that's something you want to have, when you talk to our tech department, just bring that up with them, and they can let you know whether that's possible or not.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. But we definitely do send usage reports regularly. Does anyone have any other questions about anything we went over today?
No, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no extra questions.
Okay. If any of you do have questions in the future, you can feel free to contact me anytime. I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Jamie.
Sure. Thanks a lot for attending, everyone.
Thank you, Jim.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. You too. Bye.